Vic, Vic, Vic. Oh my God. Look
This
at
is
us.
Liz. Here we
Back for
are.
season
Come
two.
on, look at this.
I'm so happy to see you. I'm so happy that season two is finally freaking here. Thank God. It's been a long few months waiting for all these episodes to air. Are you like on the edge
A
of your
lot has
seat?
happened. It is so I genuinely can't wait for people to see this season. The VFX team, Alex just completely outdid herself. Her and her team
Oh my God.
nailed it. Like they did such a great job. I cannot wait for people to start seeing this season.
It's bananas. That trailer was the most jam-packed. Like I had to watch it on half speed to kind of soak everything in. It was insane the amount of drops, just one after the other. And already some strong contenders for my new sleep paralysis demon. Some horrifying things happening in this season with like Lisa Gilroy as Big Bird Wario. Like what is that about?
A really
Horrifying.
good guess.
Okay. Is there anything that's like haunting you from the shoot that you're like, I just need this episode to air so I can talk about this with people? Is there any moments or just characters in general that you're like, this needs to go out there?
I mean, there's so many of them this season. It's like, it's nice because we, having gone through the first season, of the first season, it really was just sort of like, what is this going to look like? We don't totally know. We didn't have the edit and the audience reaction to sort of like know what it was going to look like. Tamar and our editor Eve are absolute geniuses with like amazing notes from the creative team. So like we were very proud of the final product, but we had absolutely no idea what the reception was going to be. Now, having all of this information, we sort of knew what the edits roughly were going to look like as we were shooting. So it was really fun and easy in a lot of ways because easy. It was fun and easier in a lot of ways because we could sort of like shoot in a lane where we're sort of like, okay, we know what we're aiming for. We know like what's going to be useful and what's not going to be useful in this. So like the shoots, I felt more confident about across the board. And so I just like, I am so proud of this season. I am so proud of like everybody returning and new that came onto the show. I really think it showcases all of these comedians so incredibly. We have a lot of old faces. We got a lot of new faces. Danielle Pinnock, who was in Ghosts.
Yes.
They filmed in Montreal. Fun for probably you specifically and maybe nobody else. Is just a fun fact. We love Montreal. Montreal, if you want us to come visit, Liz and I will come visit. It really just her coming in and being largely from an acting background and then having like all of these like viral videos online, you never know what you're gonna get. And she just like knocked it out of the park, has such, of course, a strong and brilliant comedic voice, and like being able to just like help facilitate that in our box that we play in at VIP was just like a joy. And it was like that for everybody. It really was just like such a treat. This season, it just felt like so much, I mean, pressure, but like a lot less pressure because we knew what we were aiming towards, if that makes any sense.
Oh my God, it totally makes sense. And we talked a lot about how the live editing that was happening and what Tamara was doing to try and edit the shoots in season one was so specific to how this show was built. I'm really curious to talk to you about how like the specific process changed for season two. And you mentioned it a little bit. I'm curious, like when it came to the order that you shot these episodes in season one, your shoot order and your episode order was like not the same at all. So was it the same for season two, or did you once again get to mix things up and play with it in post production to get your final kind of story nailed down?
Oh, great question, Liz. It was a little bit of both. Like it again is like very mixed match. Again, like Tamara and Eve do incredible things in that editing booth that is mysterious to me, and I will never know. And it's funny because like we shot this in 8 days. Because of that, we shot that in 8 days in July. My relationship to the show now is going to be a lot of what the audience's relationship to the show is, which is like I will have spent more time with the edited version of this and with like the final version of it once it starts coming out than I ever did doing it. So like that really colors how I feel about all of it. Tamara and I really talk about it and think about it as a narrative show. At the end of the day, it's like a procedural where you have these characters come in, but we also are feeding this like larger arc in some ways. And so we had those tent poles, and those sort of ended up the ones where we ended up because we will never push it. It's always in service to a character that's come in. And so if it comes up, And if the opportunity presents itself, that's when we'll pepper in those like tentpole pieces that we were looking for. And so like those will sort of dictate, like for an episode where we were able to do that, those will sort of dictate what order those episodes will go in. So like for this season, all I'll say is like when Lisa's episode came out and we filmed it, we were like, this one will be the last episode of the season.
Oh, exciting. I am so excited to see how that all comes together, and I will not push you for any more spoilers from the season. I do have one more like tentpole kind of question for you though. In our last
Please.
conversation, I loved how much you got into like the I want and the voice of reason for Host Vic and the work that you did going into season one around like this is the most famous and successful reporter and like that really grounding you in season one. Did you build on that for season two? Did you like stay grounded in that for season two? How did that maybe evolve with where you knew the season was going to go?
Oh, what a great question. Yeah. So something that happened in between seasons is we won a People's Voice Webby Award, and that
Woo!
woo, uh, we love you, Webbies. So that is now a character that is playing, I won't say character. Well, it's now a piece that is playing a very large part in this season, and especially for this host character, a character that in the first season like really was very trapped, felt that they were too good for the situation that they were in and had these greater aspirations. They have now, in the way that like the show has taken off in a way we weren't expecting, we're utilizing all of that for Host Vic. The show has now become way more successful than they thought it was going to be. They've won this award and now are trapped, are now literally stuck in this situation where like they are getting the thing that they want in a way in which they absolutely do not want it to happen, if that makes any sense. And so this host character is now like finding some success and feels very beholden to that. Things are going really, really well in their career. And so we sort of balance that out and like how their personal life is going. Yeah, it was really, really fun to play with. And I hope it plays throughout the course of the season for everybody. And I'm really looking forward to people seeing it.
Oh, I'm so excited too, because I've seen episode one. So now I need to go back and rewatch episode one, knowing that that's kind of some of the inner monologue that was happening, because we get a little bit of the lore of the personal life of Host Vic and kind of where that's going, or maybe what's been happening since we last saw the character, I guess we'll say, on screen.
Sure.
We also got a return of the brown suit. Iconic. It's so good this
Yeah.
season. The set kind of elevated and refreshed for season two. How did like the set and the suit and kind of returning into that really interesting space and design kind of like welcome you back into the character? Like, did you walk onto set and go, "Oh my God, here it is. Like we're so back."
The whole team did an amazing job with that, because this was a big thing for Tamar and I that we thought a lot about, which was again in keeping with this theme this season. With the success of last season, we thought that like they got a little bit of a bigger budget this season, and so instead of spending it in places that they should have been spending it with, like hiring more experienced crew and like PAs. Obviously, the Dropout crew is wonderful. I'm not speaking about them from the host perspective, like where Host Vic would have spent the money. Like, obviously they have a very contentious relationship with the crew and the PAs. And instead of hiring
Yes.
people more qualified in their eyes, they spent it on like a dog statue, like gold plating things, bigger chairs, like things that absolutely will not help the situation. They just made things more expensive. They got a little fish tank. You know what I mean? It's like
Heck,
they just spent their
psychotic.
money in all of the, yeah, completely psychotic, spent all the money in all of the wrong places.
It's outstanding. And seeing all the little trinkets as you move around the room makes it even more insane to unpack. Like the more you get into the set, the more you get into the head. It's just genius. I'm so excited to see like that evolution and that build. And you have all these like exciting new folks coming into the space for the first time. Did all of the people coming into season two know what they were walking into? Like, were these folks that had seen season one and connected with you guys, or did people walk in having absolutely no idea what the hell they were in for?
Oh, great question. No, I feel very grateful that everybody that had agreed very graciously to do the show either again or for the first time, knew what they were coming into at the very least. But again, it's sort of like, I'd said this earlier, but I think it stands really true. Something that I didn't totally realize until I was chatting with Jacob the other day, where he was like, walking into VIP is very similar to walking into an episode of Game Changers, where it's like, you're coming to play a game show, you're coming to do VIP, but you have absolutely no idea what the day is going to look like. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what kind of costume you're going to be in. You do know you're going to be doing 2 prov for an hour, which is like not an easy task.
It's like the improv Olympics, truly. And you filmed it kind of around the Olympics, right? The Olympics were in July, I think. Yeah. You guys were doing the improv version of that.
Right. Yeah. We made everybody swim.
Perfect.
I made everybody do laps
gold medals
after the set.
Gold medals all around.
Exactly.
The amount of Canadians on this season, my heart, Vic. I'm so happy.
Had to.
I'm wondering if like you want to do a public plea for any Canadians that are still on your list. Like, is there anyone that you're looking to like get in touch with? Anyone that you think would do well on the show for maybe future seasons?
Catherine O'Hara. Hey, we just want to talk. We just want to chat. Give us a call. Let us come to you. Honestly, you give us an address. We will show up. We will build the set. Sam's going to approve it. I feel so confident about that. We will build it in your yard, and then we will be out and we will clean it up, and we will fluff the grass on our way out. I feel so confident that can happen.
I think Catherine O'Hara is meant for this show.
Yeah, I think she would be so great. Is there anybody on your list where you're like, I think this person would be in like a perfect fit?
Emily Hampshire would slay. That was Stevie on Schitt's Creek. I think she would just bring such a chaotic energy.
I am a huge Emily Hampshire fan. She is so wonderful.
All right, Emily, let's get on the phone. Let's make it happen.
Come on, Emily. Tatiana Maslany, I think, is wonderful.
Yes.
I think she would be great too. Yeah.
Oh my God, please.
With her. She is so funny.
She's incredible. She's such a heavyweight in the Canadian scene. Holy cow. Okay, well, we'll put it out there. We'll tag them in the comments, everyone. We'll get them out here for very important people. In our last conversation, we also pitched the tourism boards for like many provinces to bring y'all out to shoot some episodes. So I'm just looking like, is there a status update? What else do I need to do to help this move? Like Newfoundland, let's get on the phone again.
Yeah, you're not going to believe this, but Newfoundland didn't reach out, which was a real bummer, but that's okay. You know what? How about this? I have been spending a lot of time on like the coast of BC, and I bet we could get Victoria. Like, I bet that we could, they would send us out to Victoria to do something. I feel really confident about that. I'll even get myself to Vancouver. I'm up there all the time. They need to pay for the ferry.
Absolutely.
The tourism board
pay for the ferry.
Victoria, British Columbia. No, you won't. The tourism board has to do it.
Okay.
Absolutely
BC?
not. Tofino, how great would that be? Do you think Tofino has their own tourism board? Probably not. It's probably the tourism board of BC, right?
Probably. But you know what? Some of the more like, vacation-y spots, the beautiful spots, like the municipal, like let's get them on the phone. Let's get you in like some vineyards, some mountains. Like, oh yeah.
Get them on the horn. Let's do it. I think that'd be lovely.
Let's do it.
Sudbury,
8 days in Tofino.
Yeah.
A well-known vacation destination in Canada, Sudbury, Ontario.
Either Tofino or Victoria or Sudbury, Ontario. Whoever reaches out, I will be there.